back, relax, and maybe get yourself a snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hey guys! So I'm here today to do a book haul, yes, another one. Mainly because I got very inspired by Non-Fiction November and ordered myself a couple more non-fiction books, and then also some books that I'd had requested from publishers turned up, and then there was one super special book that I ordered months and months ago and I forgot that I'd ordered it, it was that long ago, and I paid quite a lot of money for it because it's a special edition, so I'm going to show you that one at the end as well. First up, I'm going to show you something that isn't actually a book, and that is this postcard which says "Welcome to Weep." This is the design for the cover of Strange the Dreamer, which is by Lani Taylor, who's the author of Daughter of Smoke and Bone, and as you can see it's just a little promo card. On the back it's got the blurb. Along with that, in the same package, I also got this little collection of blood candy, which I think are cola cubes. Quite excited about that because I do like cola cubes. I got a little transferable tattoo, which is the little sort of dragonfly bee thing. I don't really know what it is. I think it's a dragonfly, but it's really, really cool, so don't know when I'm going to have a chance to put it on, but it's awesome. And then I got this, which is a tiny, tiny bottle of Spirit of Librarian. Spirit of Librarian looks remarkably like water. That was all from Hot Escape, so they just randomly sent out all of this stuff, which I hope means that the actual advanced reader copies might be coming in soon. Who knows, so I'm definitely looking forward to this one. It was on my anticipated releases and then it got bumped back to March of next year, so it will be out sometime in March of next year. The next one I got is one I've had on my wish list for a while and one that I'm very excited to read. This is The Secret Lives of Geek Girls, and it's edited by Hope Nicholson, and there's a foreword by Kelly Sue DeConnick, but included in this are tons of different female creators. It says, "The Secret Loves of Geek Girls is a non-fiction anthology mixing prose, comics and illustrated stories about the lives and loves of an amazing cast of female creators, featuring work by Margaret Atwood, Mariko Tamaki, Trina Robbins, Margaret Bennett, Marjorie Liu, Carla Speed McNeil, Sam Maggs, Adrienne Kress, and over 50 more creators. This expanded edition includes tales from both sides of the tables, from the fans who love video games, comics and sci-fi to those who work behind the scenes as creators and industry insiders." It sounds fantastic. Inside it does have text, it has comics, it has different styles of artwork, different styles of everything, so it looks super duper cool and I cannot wait to give it a try. I'm sure I'm going to really enjoy this, but yeah, fantastic sounding book. Definitely counts for Non-Fiction November, so hopefully I'll be able to squeeze it in. And it's just awesome, so can't wait. The next one I have is an advanced reader copy. This one was sent out to me by Tor in the US, so thank you very much to them for sending it all the way. This is Brandon Sanderson's new book. It is called Arcanum Unbounded, the Cosmere Collection, and this is very, very exciting because it's a collection of all the short stories that haven't really been published in print yet, I don't think. So it includes Sixth of the Dusk, it includes Shadows for Silence in the Forest of Hell, it includes a new story called Edge Dancer, which is about Lift from the Stormlight Archive. I'm partway through that right now and really liking it. And it includes lots of other short stories too, like The Emperor's Soul, which is a Hugo Award winner, I believe. I love that story, it's one of my favourites by him still. I really enjoyed rereading many of the stories in this. I'd already read them because I read digitally and a lot of them were out digitally. But the one new story in this is Edge Dancer, and that is at the very back, and that's what I'm reading right now. So I'm really, really liking it. It's great to see a collection of his short fiction all in one place, and I would certainly say this is going to get a high rating from me. So look out for a review coming soon. Thank you, Tor, for sending it, and I'm very, very happy to have it. Moving on to some fiction. Every now and then I go through my Amazon wishlist and I see if there's anything on the 1 penny deal where you get something for 1p and then you just pay £2.80 postage. And a couple of these books were that, so I got them at last. The first one is The Paladin of Souls, which is by LOIS McMaster BUJOLD. This is the first LOIS McMaster BUJOLD book I will have read, I think, because I don't have any of her others, and I wanted to read stuff by her, but I haven't had the chance because it's really hard to get hold of her books for some reason. I think this is a fantastical one. I don't know where this fits in the series, if it is part of a series or if it's like not. I don't really understand how the order of Lewis McMaster BUJOLD's books go, but I've heard so many great things from my friends that I think I'm gonna like it, and I'm gonna like her, so I've picked it up. Another one that I got because it was a penny on Amazon plus postage is Tan Twang Eng's The Gift of Rain. Now, I read The Garden of Evening Mists by Tan Twang Eng last month in Diversathon, loved it, it was fantastic, and I wanted to pick up the other book by Tan Twang Eng. This says, Penyang, 1939, 16-year-old Philip Hutton is a loner. Half English, half Chinese, and feeling neither, he discovers a sense of belonging in an unexpected friendship with Hayato Endo, a Japanese diplomat who trains him in the art of discipline and Aikido. But the enigmatic Endo is bound by disciplines of his own when the Japanese invade Malaya, threatening to destroy Philip's family and everything he loves. It sounds really cool. This one's a lot longer than The Garden of Evening Mists, so I'm really looking forward to reading this, and I love the covers that Tan Twang Eng has. They're just super gorgeous, as you can see, the shiny metallic awesomeness. So yeah, really love the look of this. I will definitely try and get to this fairly soon. The next one on the 1 penny deal is SUSANNA CLARKE, The Ladies of Grace Adieu and Other Stories. I didn't love the first book I read by SUSANNA CLARKE, which was Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. I had a lot of problems with the way that there were very few women represented, and those that were represented were pretty terrible. So I've heard from other people that this is a story collection about women. Obviously, it's in the title. And that SUSANNA CLARKE does a lot better in this collection of representing women and putting them into stories and making them feel like they actually have a voice and they can actually do things rather than being sort of props for the men, which is how I felt they were in Jonathan Strange. Now, I had no problem with the writing style of Jonathan Strange, although it was quite long. I think her writing style was very, very beautiful, and the atmosphere that she created was very, very beautiful. So I know I like her writing, I just didn't love the plot and I didn't love the direction her story took. So hopefully I'll really enjoy these short stories. I don't know, I'm going to give her a second try just to sort of decide finally what I think of her. But yeah, I'm intrigued, very intrigued by this collection. Another one that I got super cheap on Amazon is The Girl in the Spider's Web, which is by David Lagercrantz. Now, I have read and really enjoyed the first 3 in the Millennium series by Stieg Larsson, which this is part of. Stieg Larsson died after the 3rd book was written. He didn't get a chance to complete his series, it was unfinished, and the ending of the 3rd book is a massive cliffhanger. So apparently David Lagercrantz has decided to come into the same world and continue the story. Now, I don't necessarily know the controversies surrounding it. I know that some people in Stieg Larsson's family didn't want this ever to be written and some did, so it's a bit controversial. I therefore didn't really want to pick it up until I'd seen a couple of reviews, but it does seem like it's been well received by generally the public, and I want to know what I think of it and whether it does continue the story in a good way or not, because that was a massive cliffhanger. So I've got it secondhand, I'm hopeful that I'll like it, and I'm definitely intrigued about reading a crime book because I don't often read crime, but I loved that series in particular, so I hope that this continues in a good way. We'll have to wait and see. The next one I got is a non-fiction, and this is actually the pick of the month for the Magical Space Pussycats. It's called How to Suppress Women's Writing, and it's by JOANNA RUSS. This is a non-fiction book all about how women's literary prowess and literary traditions and publications have often been trampled on by those in positions of authority. I think it's going to make me pretty angry from what I've heard about this book. I imagine it's probably going to stir up some emotions and feelings, but I think it's going to be a really important read as well, and I've never read any JOANNA RUSS, but I would like to. So starting with her non-fiction will give me a taste of who she is and whether I think I might like her books, and I'm very much looking forward to discussing this with Chelsea and Elizabeth on our next Magical Space Pussycats podcast, so definitely look out for that. I think it's going to be a dramatic one, so finally this came in the post and I thought I would show you guys. The next one I got is a fiction book, but it deals with real time periods. It's The Narrow Road to the Deep North, and it's by Richard Flanagan. It's a fictional book about a Japanese prisoner of war camp on the Burma Death Railway. We follow a surgeon called Dorigo Evans, who is haunted by a love affair that he had with his uncle's young wife 2 years earlier. He struggles to save the men under his command from starvation, cholera, beatings, and he receives a letter that will change his life forever. This is a story about the many forms of love and death, war and truth, as one man comes of age, prospers, only to discover all that he has lost. It sounds pretty hard-hitting. I got recommended this one by one of you guys, so thank you for that recommendation, and hopefully I'll really like it when I get around to it. The next one I bought was Into Thin Air by Jon KRAKAUER. KRAKAUER? I'm not really sure how you say his name. So this deals with an expedition of, I think, 40 climbers who all went up Everest. They started out in good conditions. 24 hours later, one climber had died and 23 other men and women were caught in a desperate struggle for their lives as they battled against a ferocious storm that threatened to tear them from the mountain. In all, 8 climbers died that day, and it's the worst tragedy Everest have ever seen. I think this is a telling of what happened to the climbers that day. Jon KRAKAUER, I'm not sure he was on the original expedition, but he is a climber. He does a lot of mountaineering stuff, so he definitely has experience, and he's done a lot of research into this topic, and I've heard good things from other people who've read this, so I'm hopeful that I will like it as well. And the final one that I bought for myself, except for the super special one that I'll show you at the end, is The Wicked and the Divine, Volume 4, Rising Action. Now this is by GILLEN, MCKELVIE, Wilson and Cowles, and I have read the first 3 volumes and been amazed and astounded every time by what they do and how shocking they are. So I have no doubt that this is going to continue that theme. It's set in a world where young people start coming back as gods. I believe there are 12 of them maybe. And they only survive for 2 years, and in that 2 years they have these extraordinary powers, and they're also teenagers, so they can do crazy, awesome or terrible things. So far the story has been absolutely insane and awesome and weird and combines lots of different religious deities and cultures, and I think it's fantastic, and the artwork is beautiful, so I'll give you a quick look. I don't want to spoil it, but there you go. Now moving on to a couple of books that I've been sent by publishers. The first one is this one. It's called The Cat of Yule Cottage by Lily HAYWARD, and this was sent to me by Hodder and Stoughton. In particular, it was sent by Fleur and Anne there, so thank you to them. They said that this was a story about fantasy and cats, and what more could you want? A story about land, love, friendship and Yuletide, and one remarkable cat. So, sounds pretty interesting. I'm definitely looking forward to this, thinking I'll probably read this in December. The next 2 I requested from Macmillan. The first one is a collection of poetry, which I don't often read, but I've heard fantastic things about this poet, who is called Kate Tempest. I know that Jean from Jean's Bookish Thoughts loves her, like absolutely loves her, and has for years. This is called Let Them Eat Chaos, and it's quite a short book, but I believe it's 1 poem. Written for live performance and heard on the album release of the same name. It's both a powerful sermon and a moving play for voices. 7 neighbours inhabit the same London street, but all are unknown to each other. The clock freezes in the small hours, and one by one we directly see into their lives. Lives that are damaged, disenfranchised, lonely, broken, addicted. Then a great storm breaks out over London and brings them out into the night to face each other and offers them a chance to connect. Sounds pretty interesting. I'm definitely intrigued. I'm happy to finally be reading some poetry and hopefully reviewing it for you guys as well, so look out for that. Another one that I requested from Macmillan is The Lie Tree by Frances Hardinge. This is the illustrated edition, which is illustrated by Chris Riddell. I love Chris Riddell's style, and I've heard so many good things about Frances Hardinge, particularly since she won the Costa Prize, which was with this book, The Lie Tree, in 2015, so I'm definitely intrigued about her work. I believe this is about a tree and you can feed it your lies, something like that. Faith has a thirst for science and secrets that the rigid confines of her class cannot suppress, and so it is that she discovers her disgraced father's journals filled with scribbled notes and theories of a man driven close to madness. Tales of a strange tree which, when told a lie, will uncover a truth. The greater the lie, the greater the truth revealed to the liar. So we have some illustrations around the edges, and some full-page illustrations, and some single-page illustrations. So very, very excited to dive into this. I know that I love the art already, and I'm hopeful that the story will live up to the art and be awesome as well. The final one that I was sent from a publisher is this one, which sounds really, really cool. I was sent this by Orbit. It's called Romeo and or Juliet, and it's by Ryan North. I believe that this is a kind of choose your own adventure type of book, and you can go into this and you can decide how you want the story to go. There's hundreds of different possible endings, and if I just show you the book, then you can see that there's loads and loads of stuff going on in here. It's kind of crazy how many different illustrations and things there are, but you kind of decide as you go what you want to happen. So it sounds really, really cool. It says, what if Romeo never met Juliet? What if Juliet got really buff instead of moping around in the castle all day? What if they teamed up to take over Verona with robot suits? It sounds kind of sci-fi, it sounds kind of wacky, and I'm very excited to try it out because it just seems like a crazy idea that could really, really work. And the final one, which I'm very excited to show you guys. This is a clue. It came with this little dinosaur who's really, really cool, and I'm gonna put him on my bookshelf behind me because he's that awesome. Oh dear, too much fun. It's in a case, which is always very exciting, and it says "The End" on it. And there's a dinosaur on the spine of the book as well, and you can see it's got this kind of leathery, embossed, textural feel. And if we get the book out, that goes the whole way round, as you can see. It's kind of a dark greenish colour. Greeny, yeah, green I'd say. Crocodile skin texture on it the whole way round. Really cool. And if you open up the end papers, they are very exciting, very, very eye-catching beautifulness. Kind of a jungly, otherworldly thing. Same at the back, and there's a little dinosaur, and then the same. And this book is called The Extinction Event, and I ordered this from Jurassic London, who are a small press publisher. I think they've closed now, which is why this book is called The End. Mine is number 67 of 150, so there were a very limited amount of them, very exciting. And this is a collection of loads of the stories that they published over the time of them being a publisher, with signed signatures from many of the authors, which is super cool, like super duper cool. Some of the authors that they have included in this collection are Becky Chambers, Kim Curran, Charles Dickens, S.L. Gray, Rebecca Levine, Kirsty Logan, Sophia McDougall, Claire North, Den Patrick, Adam Roberts, E.J. Swift, Sam Sykes, and many more. I won't read out the whole list, but it sounds like this is going to be pretty flipping epic. I'm very excited. It's like a special limited press and limited release, and I'm really, really happy that I ordered this. I did forget that I'd ordered it because I ordered it so long ago. I think maybe like 4 months ago or something crazy. And then it just turned up in the post and I was super excited. So, and there's even some illustrations and stuff, which is awesome. Look at them, they're so cool. What was that one? So I'm really happy to have this. It's like the only kind of luxury-ish book that I own, because I never really treat myself to books that often, but hopefully I love it. Hopefully I can tell you guys all about it and it will be amazing. We'll have to see. And I think probably you can get some of these stories online as well, so if I find out that you can, then obviously I'll say that in my review. But yeah, absolutely love the look of this. Cannot wait to read it and hopefully love the whole thing. So that's my final one. It looks so cool. I love that it just says The End on it. That's really, really dramatic and cool. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you very soon in my next video. Let me know if you've read any of these or if you plan to buy any of them. Bye!
Thank you for watching my video today. Go pick up a book, then come back and chat with me again.